In this video, we're going to talk about how to use AI to create ads, headlines, and ad scripts. If you're into this topic, we will also share how we really do it, and we will at the end make a proper ad out of it. So that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. By the way, this is Aazar. I have an agency that runs ads for education and health brands and some D2C brands. And we have Marco, who has his own agency as well as he serves agencies with his video editing work. Okay, so let's get into the topic. The
Yeah.
topic is basically how to use AI to make great ads, right? And how to use AI for research. So you have some insights. Feel free to share your screen and tell us what you have.
So in the last 90 days, this research framework has generated 7 figures for our client, and I'm really excited to share that with you today because it uses what AI is good at. I'm not a fan of AI developed creatives. I think they are not good. I'm not a fan of AI developed scripts. I think they're getting better, but they're not as good as a human creative strategist yet. We've talked about this. I showed you examples where we used only AI ads and creative strategist ads, and the creative strategist ad clearly won. But what AI is fantastic at is deep research and actually understanding humans' buying behavior and helping us humans understand why people are buying. And I'm going to use the example of a candle company because I think it's a broad enough example that everybody understands. We've all bought candles before, whether online or not. But you don't want to go really specific and say, here's my brand. We sell to women 35 and 45. You're feeding it too much information to start with, and it's not starting at a point zero. What you want to do is you want to actually start more broad. So you want to start with a question such as, why do women in the US buy candles? I'm not telling it anything about my brand. I'm not even telling it that we're going to be writing scripts later or that I'm going to be using this research for scripts. I'm doing none of that. All I'm doing is asking ChatGPT or any AI tool that you want to use. Claude has been great for this recently as well, to just tell me why people, women in particular, in the US buy candles. Now, I could have said people here, but I specifically focused on women because I do know that from what my targeting is on Meta for this client, 90% goes to female. So I want to skew in that direction and continue with that. And then whatever the output comes, I generally don't bother reading it, to be honest with you. I just continue going down a line of question. And the next question that I like to ask is like, where do people buy from? And you're going to notice that one of the big things is they're going to say, in this example, most women buy candles at department stores. So whether that is your Nordstroms, whether that's your Targets, whether that's your Walmart, it doesn't really matter. Most is done in store. And that's already an interesting bit of information that you can take away, right? Is there's a behavior that women naturally have or people naturally have when buying a candle. They buy it in stores. Now, so then I want to make sure that I'm not narrowing it down too much yet. I'm not saying, hey, I want to focus on e-com. I think it's important that we take that information as to how people buy when in store and continue to learn from that, and that we can apply it to our e-com side. So then I ask something like, what are some of the deciding factors for people when it comes to buying a candle, right? So now I'm trying to understand a little bit deeper as to why would someone, or what are the deciding factors that someone buys? Is it scent? Is it the length that a candle lasts, so the burn time? Is it the way that the candle looks aesthetically? Is it the feel, the vibe, the brand? Is it, maybe there's a celebrity connected to a specific thing? Is it a luxury items like or a aspirational item like a diptyque candle, right? A lot of people love diptyque candles because of what they stand for, the branding, etc., etc. So I want to understand all of that. And again, you'll notice I'm not talking about my product at all or anything at this point. I'm just trying to understand the general consumer behavior. And you'll notice a trend here. The thing that we're doing is we're training the AI and teaching it to learn about this product category. In this specific chat, we're telling it, here is what I want you to know, and I'm learning that as well, but so is this chat. And I'm giving it context, and that is super important when it comes to then later doing deeper research. I want to narrow it down. I've not specifically said anything about the US so far. Most of these AI agents, most of these AI chatbots will automatically focus on the US market or the North American market. That's okay. If you're in Europe, just make sure that you're saying in the European market. If you're in Asia, make sure you're saying in the Asian market. If you're in a specific country and you only care about that country, such as Australia, say Australia. The default tends to be North America. So now I'm going to be specific here, and I'm going to say, who does most of the candle buying in the US? I did ask at the beginning about women, but now I also wanted to understand, are there men that are buying this? And the answer that you'll see if you were to go through this on ChatGPT is that yes, there are men buying it, but it tends to be for a completely different reason, one, and it's a much smaller segment. So of the candle buyers in the US, it's like 95% women, 5% men. Then women tend to buy it for themselves, that's a big thing, or for their home. Men tend to buy these candles as a gift. That's the one big differentiator. And so that already tells you a little bit more research, or it does a little bit more research, and it helps you understand the different reasons and angles that you can effectively take from this. Now, I want to start narrowing it down because I have all this information about who's buying, where they're buying, are they loyal, what are some of the factors that they decide on buying on. Now I want to start narrowing it down to DTC, right? It's important that at this stage you start looking at what is the buying pattern online because it's going to be different. I can't smell or physically hold the candle. All I can do is like read what the description says about the scent, right? So now I'm going to ask, where do people buy their candles from online? And it's going to give you a bunch of output. It's going to say like some people buy from the boutique store directly, some people buy from Target online, some people buy from Bed Bath and Beyond or Bed Bath and Body Works, whatever. I don't remember which one went broken, which one is still around. But either way, it'll spit out some points for you. Now, I want to understand what are some of the main objections that people have when shopping online for candles specifically, because the objections in store versus online are going to be different again. And this is a super important point if you're later going to write scripts or you're going to use this to brief your editors or your creators, whoever you're briefing. Why? Because objection handling is a huge part of writing and scripting briefs, right? If you can include objections within the ad and you can say the scent, if one of the big reasons that people don't buy candles online is the scent. So it's important that in the ads you maybe describe the scent, or you have a UGC creator holding a candle saying this smells like a Four Seasons spa, or it smells like a day at the beach. I can smell the sandalwood, I can smell the leaves, I can smell the whatever. So you have to be visually and orally descriptive of what people are writing. So it's important that you understand these objections, and you're starting to help ChatGPT understand why people are not buying your product. And that's just as important as understanding why people do buy your product. Then I want to understand frequency. So how often do people actually buy these candles? And again, it's just to further understand this buying pattern. I need to understand, do they buy this once a month? Are they buying this in bulk? Are they buying this every 3 days? Like, what does that look like? Now, up until now, everything that we've done, you could have done on the ChatGPT free plan. The next thing, and this is for me, has been the biggest unlock ever using ChatGPT for AI research or research using AI, is using deep research. It's really, really good. All you have to do is toggle the little deep research button, and what ChatGPT will do, up until now, everything has been within 30 seconds you have an answer, right? Depending on how deep the research is. What happens now is you're going to give ChatGPT a prompt, and it's going to go away and come back 20, 30, 40 minutes later. It's taken one time an hour for ChatGPT to come back to me. And you can actually follow all of the research that it does. You can see all the pages that it goes to. But what it effectively does is it becomes you, and it goes to all these websites, indexes them, reads them, scans them, looks at the pictures, etc., and creates this one big ass master file that it then starts to then spit out the most important things. Now, most people make the mistake of just saying, clicking the deep research function, and then saying, okay, do a deep analysis of this. What I like to do is the following. All right, can you highlight some transcripts of how people describe their buying experience for candles in particular? What are some of the feelings that they experience when they buy this candle and when they light these candles at home? I love 15 points, but please focus on personal blogs for this. You can also look at places like Reddit, forums, and those styles of websites. It's important that we add those last two sentences in there. Why? Because if you don't include them, ChatGPT is just going to go look at anything that it can find on there. And a lot of it is going to be paid by SEO agencies, PR, etc. And it's not going to be authentic. It's not going to sound human. It's not going to give you the mom of 3 kids that buys these candles because she wants to relax after a long day at home and she puts it on her mommy blog. You want that information. That's the level of research that you want. That was my rant about AI and how it works.
Amazing.
Questions?
Amazing. No questions. I think I will now just take. I think the what I loved about this entire process was like it comes from the first principle mindset, really trying to understand the market, and then going backwards, and then trying to figure it out. What I will do is take over from what you did, and I'll show my process to add how I do it differently, and we'll create an ad together.
Perfect.
So since you talked about candles, I picked a brand that is Instant Candles, and I'm going to share my screen so it's very easy for everybody to understand how I think about my process. So the number one thing I will do is I picked a candle market. I said, okay, I'm gonna go with pot candles as a product. And first I will, so what I did was I added pot candles here. And what I do is I have this tool Atria. They are sponsors of this podcast, newsletter, whatever that you see around my brand. And so I use Atria for all the research what you just did, right? And what I do is I try to look at what ads they're making, which obviously, like, they have a warehouse ad here already. It also gives me like status, which one are active, not active. So right now it doesn't say anything is active. um, I try to look at like what if there are any using if there are any hooks somewhere. So let's say click on follow to unlock the brand. So now I'm unlocking it, and then it will give me like, okay, ad copy that you're using, headlines there people are using. So right now it doesn't show me anything somehow because it takes a while to populate the content. Um, but basically, whoever I'm following actually give me ideas around that. So like for example, if let's say pod candles is not I can it has to there's no ad live right now, but like for example this Betterman that I'm following right now, they have all those ideas. So like headline, what headline copy is winning, because pot candle is not live on the ad right now. So you see all these headlines. Okay, they're talking about transformation. The number one thing is, let's say, transformation, and pot candle is something else. Personas, with personas you're going to go after. So here's like self-improvement persona, probably something else. On an ad angle, so I don't have to go through the entire thing. I just have to understand what my pot candles is using as a brand, and try to understand all the angles from here. Once I figured that out, what I do is, so I already figured out this pot candle as a review, and I have an internal tool. Obviously it will be hidden. You can also make this tool on Replit something. It just helps me extract all the reviews. So what I do is I put the URL and I say, okay, so first of all, everybody's happy with them. The most important thing I want to understand is customer journey. So how much is the awareness rate? So distribution of awareness rate. So there's no specific pain point they're talking about. Oh yeah, sorry, we have to go to last year and then do again extract review. Oh yeah, so you see here, so there are a lot of reviews that are there now. So what I'm trying to do is I'm quickly trying to figure it out. If I have to create an ad within like 15 to 20 minutes, I'm just gonna figure out, okay, so what is the customer awareness level? They are problem aware. So now I know that I can ignore all of this because this is the biggest sector. And they say the customers have recognized the problem but haven't found a solution. And they what they're looking for as a benefit is like, it feels much better than buy a new one, replaced ones. They at nearly 30 candidates at better expert. Now I'm disappointed. So the people are really not happy with the quality, efficiency. It's very wonderful, worth the investment. Desire, handmade pots are stunning. Each one feels like a piece of art. That's like the desire that they are going after, which is interesting for me. So smell exactly as imagine as perfect addition to the room. So like, okay, I found out like, okay, so I think this insight is very interesting, like feels like an art to me, that like feels, that gives me this. So I'm going to go after this. I'm also going to look at buyer insight if there's other insight, like for example 10 things users love. um so they say, I love pot candles, have buying it in 2023. Limited editions is something interesting. Maybe I can add limited edition in my ad as well. Fast and efficient. Comparative alternatives. Pottery crafters, key influencers have like, I had high expectation after reading numerous reviews from singing their praises. So people were disappointed. And then I get a lot of triggers. So like I'm getting triggers like I ordered the starter set and was very pleased with the pot and beautifully scented and long lasting fragrance that can. So now I got a second concept, long lasting. It's like really big thing in candles, right? Then I'm looking at cause of effect. This is exemplified by, I also love that the fact that you can refill the pot over and over and make it cost effective. So like it doesn't go away. It's like amazing. It answers an objection. It's like one time buy. So I'm just getting all this data. Um, and then they're like there's a lot of things that I actually try to dig into, but you get, and then you can understand with the bot, you can ask a question. So what you did with the chat GPT, I can do with my own GPT, right? And I can say, what's the best concept I can go after? I don't know if it, because I've never used this one, so it's analyzing the concept. So, but probably I'll go after feels like an art, last as long as possible. So let's say we did this, we figured out an insight. Then I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I'm gonna go to Reddit and probably find some more insights. I'm gonna say, okay, like candle that feels like art. So I'm gonna find a keyword that is like more than candles that feels like art. Right, so I'm just writing it down. It gives me some more ideas. So there are some insight that I find here. Why does my art smell or feel like candle in the window painting? So like there are a lot of insights here, but usually what I do is to um, reduce my research. I use like the Giga Brain, and like it already gives me some more resources what people are using. So it's like, okay, candles can be elevated art through unique experience, creative concept, thoughtfully presentation. One way candles can feel like art is through artistic candle holders. A user share the experience. So like I'm just gonna go after candles that feels like artistic holders. Um, and so like what I will now next do is, let's say we will not make ad that is about a static image. Everybody can make static image, correct? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go after my proven template, and that I showed with you last time. Apollo School one. It should be here. So this is the template, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Poppy. I can already try to create like a concept here. I'm gonna transcribe the copy. And I have to tell a story with different ways of telling the people. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Poppy, which is my go-to place to actually like create a script. So I'm gonna say this is a script. um, I'm gonna say template script, and so this I use Poppy a lot in these cases. I'm gonna increase the size of it. So, and I'm gonna say create a template out of it. Create a template out of this script. So now Poppy is going to create a template for me, which is why I'm using the Claude for it. And now that it has all those things, now make a template for a candle product, which is pot candles. And now I'm going to give the concept. So the concept is, so what did we find? We found from our research was that benefits are it feels like art, it lasts long, and it feels amazing. You can reuse the cups again, and then I don't know if I've not done enough research, but these are the benefits. I want the hook says um, my candle almost feels like an art, right? So now I'm just gonna give it further, and I'm gonna say create a script. So let's see if the script is great or not. Just give me the script. So now it's just giving me the script. It's very quickly I've done. It takes a little longer. Now make it 30 seconds or less. My candle almost feel like an art. With pot candles, you're bringing home handcrafted masterpiece that transforms any space. So it's clearly telling what makes them special. They last incredibly long, create an amazing atmosphere. Plus, when the candle's done, you can reuse it. Like so it's a like amazing script already. You can reuse a beautiful ceramic pot for plants or store it. It's not just a candle; it's lasting piece of an art for your home. Pot candles where fragrance meet art. Every light creates lasting impression. So just like within 5 minutes, I was able to get to key insight to real script, and now I can actually I did not use this is how my candle feels like an art, but doesn't make sense already. But like just very quickly I was able to get the concept, get with three benefits, and then like now I can add urgency, I can add more things. But this will be my first draft, not the final draft, so I can now start working towards it. So this is how I do it. Let's just say what I already have right now, I'm gonna go to an image, a candle image, right? So like because everybody wants to see how you make the image. Pot candles. Let's see if they have some already an ad that we can use. So we remove these. So what I want to do is, because it feels like an art, what's the image that comes to you in your head when you think about art?
It's we do a lot of work with kids art, so all I think about is kids art.
Okay, so let me show you. So when I think about art, I think about Banksy.
Okay.
So that's what connects with my brain. So
Okay.
I'll find Banksy image, Banksy's paints, and I found image of Banksy. So for example, this one. And this is just a top level idea. Maybe I will not use it, right? But I just Banksy famous paints. There was one with him holding something. Forgot about it. I can't find it. Banksy's image.
Maybe try art instead of paint.
So, and this is a good image. It's look like somebody is going after it. And I'm gonna go to ChatGPT, generate an image where someone's looking at the product, but it is a paint. Paint. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, let's say this one looks good. Add this image to the paint instead. So, and write a headline, candle that feels like an art. I don't know what it generates, but let's see what it generates. So, short answer for me is like I just gave ChatGPT. Now, this I will give it to my designer and tell him to create an image like that. Um, this quickly I come up with the research and image insights. It takes me roughly 2 hours or 4 hours first time, and it just reduces next time because I know what I'm learning. But I just turned from my own GPT to Chat GPT to Giga GPT, and then actually found an image that they were already using, and then made it on top of it, because now somebody's looking at the candle, but it's an art, and it just conveys that it's an art. And so quickly I was able to make an ad
Dude, I learned
from
so much. That was great. Mate, I learned so much. It was I didn't use GigaBrain before. That's a huge unlock. Your personal tool, which we can't show anyone, is next level, like insane, great. Going back to Triatia, your whole workflow is super efficient. I mean, I was timing you. That was like 12 minutes, and from start to finish, you have a full ad concept that is almost ready to go. Crazy.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I mean, it doesn't generate the right image, but I have to still go through it. But feels like somebody's looking at this as an art now,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I mean when I think about concept and idea. And most importantly, if you do it enough times to know. So what I will actually do is like I will. So this one still looks a little fake, right? And RT is missing. I will tell my designer to actually use this exact frame
Yeah.
and remove the painting and put the ad in it.
Yeah.
And so, but this is like close to how he will do it, so he understands immediately what to do.
It's a storyboard that you can pass to your editor. Super easy. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. So that's an answer to how to come up with an ad from two different perspectives. I think yours is very much ground up. I should have also done it, but I feel like we have two different processes, and now we can help each other. And obviously, people who are watching the video can use AI to actually use it without all the bullshit and fluff.
Yeah, and I think you can actually combine these two. Like you do the deep research part. If we gave Poppy, which you were using at the beginning, all of that deep research that we just did on ChatGPT and we plugged that into Poppy, the and you would have endless angles and scripts and ideas. Like
Yeah.
they work really well together.
Yeah, the best part about Poppy is it already picks up the
Yeah.
Instagram, all the YouTube videos. So it doesn't have, you don't have to analyze it. You tell Poppy to analyze it, it analyzes for you, and then it gives you the
Mhm.
ideas. And
Lovely.
that is really important. I feel like that saves me a lot of time, especially when I have a bunch of ideas and I want to put into one place, and then let Poppy do the thing and not even use ChatGPT.
Yeah, great.
Perfect. So that's how we use AI. I hope it was useful. It was a long podcast, if you like 30 minutes, but in 30 minutes we condense back to how we think about research, how we think about coming up with concepts, how we use our tools, internal and external tools, and the third last thing is how you can actually go make ads very quickly within 30 minutes. So that's all from our side. Until then, bye bye.